Hello and welcome to the tutorial video for Cole. This is a duet. It has two parts. It has the Prima part with a piano player who plays up at this end, and it has a Secondo part for the piano player who plays down at this end of the piano. We're going to start with the Secondo part. Before we do, let's just do a quick reminder about how we use our hands and the numbering system we use for the fingers. So two hands, and we number the fingers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So our thumbs are number 1, our little fingers are 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to start with the Secondo part, which is at the lower end of the piano. Here's my hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We need to find a C. Here's two black notes. Here's a white note to the left of those two black notes, to the left of the lower of those two black notes, and this is C. Here's another two black notes, so this is another C here, which is 8 notes lower, so this is an octave lower. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. These are both Cs. The first thing we're going to look at in the Secondo part is the right hand. So here's my right hand, and we're going to put my thumb, number 1, on C, which is an octave below middle C. So here's middle C, and we want this C here. I'm going to put my thumb here. I'm going to play also a G. Now, you could play a G with your little finger, and that would work. There's the G, and here's the C. And they are the two notes we want, and that's the sound we want. But to make it a little bit easier, to a little bit more sophisticated, we're going to play this G with our 4th finger. So we've got 1 and 4, but the 4 is on G. So 1 is on C, and the 4 is on G. So that's the first thing. Play those two notes. We also then need to find 2 on D and 5 on A. So D, E, F, G, A. The reason is because we now have C and G together and D and A together. And because we've used 1 and 4 and 2 and 5, you can pass the notes between these fingers. So watch this. Which is a little bit more sophisticated than going like this. So using your fingers than moving left to right. So that's what the right hand's doing. And now for the left hand. The left hand, we need to find a C 2 octaves below middle C. So here's middle C. There's that C we were just using. We're going to go for this one here. And the notes we're actually going to play, we're going to put our thumb on an E next to that C. So it's C, D, E. So put your thumb on that E. And then we need to find an A as well below that. And again, we're going to use 1 and 4. So here's E. So E, D, C, B, A. There's A. I'm going to put my 4th finger on that A. So we've got E and A. And then we're going to use D with our 2nd finger and G with our little finger. So E and A, D and G. Again, we can pass the notes between the fingers like that, rather than moving the whole shape of the hand. So watch. Like that. So that's what my left hand's doing. And remember what my right hand was doing was that. So they're very similar. In fact, they're the same thing, going opposite directions. They just start on different notes. This starts with your thumb on a C and your right hand 4th finger on a G. This starts with your thumb on an E and your 4th finger on an A. Now the way the pattern works, we have the left hand first, then the right hand, then the right hand again, then the left hand. And that's the cycle, that's what we use, and it happens over and over again. So watch what happens. That's a big part of what's going on for the Secondo part with both hands. It's the same thing over and over again. The Secondo part then moves later on, and it takes that same idea, but it now moves up the piano to the right of the piano, so that we now have our 4th finger in the right hand on middle C and our thumb on F. C, D, E, F, and there's that C. So we get F and C, and G and D. And in the left hand we have our fourth finger on D, and our thumb on A, and we go like this. So this is what this pattern sounds like. So it's actually the same thing, just in a different position to what we had down here. Compare that to. Now we're going to look at the primo part. Here's my hands, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to start with our left hand on an A, and it's going to be an A above middle C. So here's middle C, so C, D, E, F, G, and we want to go A. We're going to put our little finger on there. Now, what you can do now is let your fingers fall on the notes that follow from there, with one slight change. So A, B, C, D, E, that's where our fingers would fall if you just go for one finger per key. But instead of B, we're going to use B flat, this note here. And what that means is we get this sound. This is actually the first thing that we play. We go like this. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and play them quickly and hold them down. And then the right hand imitates. So put your thumb on A and B flat, C, D, E. Let the fingers fall like that, just with that B flat instead of B. And that copies. So it goes. The next thing that happens is the same shape, same idea, but we move down a key. So instead of starting on an A, the little finger in the left hand moves down to a G, and then A. Remember, we're using B flat instead of B, so there's B, but we can use this black note, B flat instead, C, D. And then the right hand the same, G, A, B flat, C and D. So the left hand goes first. So here it is again. And then we go back to the first idea, starting on an A. So A, B flat, C, D, E. And then back to the second one. And that section ends with both hands playing a D, which is my little finger and my thumb. So I'll demonstrate that whole section in time with a pulse, with a count. So after 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. The next thing we're going to look at in the primo part is the right hand melody. So you need to put your second finger on an A that is 2 octaves higher than middle C. Here's middle C, here's C an octave higher, C, D, E, F, G, and we want to start on this A. So put your second finger on there. And we're going to be using these notes. We're going to be using your thumb on G, your second finger on A, B flat, C and D. That shape again, like we had before, but with a second finger on A. So this shape. This is the pattern. Watch this. So in terms of numbers, that's 2, 5, 4, 3, 2, 2, 5. Let's do that again. 2, 5, 4, 3, 2, 2, 5. With the left hand does the same thing, but obviously the numbers are slightly different. So it's playing the same notes, but the numbers would be different. So the numbers would go 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 1. I'll play them both together. Then carries on like this. The right hand plays 1, 4, 3, 2, 1, 4, 1. So the hand hasn't moved left to right, it's still in the same place, but instead of 2 it's starting with 1. So 1, 4, 3, 2, 1, 4, 1. And again, the left hand plays the same thing, starting on a little finger this time. So that'd be 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 5. Let's put it together. So I'm going to put the first phrase, the first bit of melody, and the second bit of melody together, and what we get is this. Notice my hands don't move, and I'm going to count 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we use both bits of melody, but we have a smaller gap between them, so it goes second one, and then an A together like that with both hands. So here's the third phrase, this new bit we've just added on. The secondo part gets to improvise and make something up, whilst the primo part takes on the role that the secondo part had been playing earlier. So the low material now becomes a little bit higher up the piano. So the primo part plays this. So what's going on there is, in your left hand, take your thumb, stick it on E, above middle C, so C, D, E. Put your fourth finger on A, so C, B, A, there we go. And then you move to the white notes to the left of that, so E and A, and then D and G. With 1 and 4, and then 2 and 5. In the right hand, put your thumb on C, C an octave higher, and your fourth finger on G, and move to the white notes to the right, like that. So 1 and 4 on C and G, 2 and 5 on D and A. And it's like it was in the secondo part, it goes left, right, right, left, left, right, right. And this just loops and continues whilst the secondo part improvises lower down the piano. When it is the primo part's turn to improvise, you can improvise using any notes you like, but I would suggest you try using these notes: A, B flat, C, D, E, F, G. So it's all white notes, except instead of B, we're going to change that to B flat, and you get this kind of interesting sound. So maybe put your hand there to start with. And don't forget, you can improvise with both hands. This improvisation can be as short or as long as you want. Just make it interesting. In the left hand, we get to improvise as well. And we would use the notes, as in the right hand, use the notes A, B flat, C, D, E, F, G. So all the white notes, except instead of B, let's use B flat. But you can also go all the way down here. You've got this A and this A, but you can go lower. All the way to this A. After that, you get in the way of the other piano player, so don't go too high. But think about how low and how interesting these notes sound down here. Okay, so that's the different sections, looking at the primo and the secondo part and how you put them together. Now let's think about how the whole piece is structured and how all the different parts fit together. It starts down here with the secondo part playing this looped idea. this keeps going, and at this point the primo part plays 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 2. It gets a bit faster here between the hands, so you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 4. And at this point, the primo part plays this, and at the same time, this is where the secondo part changes from being here to here. So that happens twice. The secondo part carries on with this new position where your thumb in the left hand is on A and your fourth finger's on D and your right hand thumb's on F and C. This carries on. The primo part now plays. And wait for this because it's a bit longer than you think. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait. 2, 3, 4. And here, when I hit that note there, the primo part hits that note, the secondo part goes back to the original loop, the first loop. Now we're up to the improvisation section. During the improvisation section, the primo part plays this loop. As long as you want, whilst the secondo part plays some improvisation down here. Remember, use the bottom of the piano. Use this low A if you've got one on your piano or your keyboard. It sounds very deep and quite intimidating, that sound. It's interesting. So use that down there, and then after that's happened for a little while, it swaps over. The secondo part becomes the accompanist and starts playing this again. And the primo part uses these notes up here. Once that's gone on for a little bit, we get the melody again up here in the primo part. So it goes to the second loop, which is this one. Whilst that's happening, the primo part plays. Hold that for 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 2, 3, 4, hold 2, 3, 4. When you get to here, the secondo part goes back to the first loop. And it keeps doing this, and this is how we end. It's just the secondo part playing, so now we're getting softer. Softer, just the left hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then hold that last one and stop. During this piece, you can use the sustain pedal. This is the one on the right. If you press it down, it sustains the notes and stops them from disappearing. So I've pressed it down now and watch what happens. These notes are sustained, whereas if I take away the pedal, they disappear much quicker. So to do that, you press down the pedal and you hold it until it starts to sound a bit mushy. About now, it's starting to sound a bit too mushy, a bit too cloudy for my liking. So we have to take the pedal up and down. So the pedal goes down when we start, and then at some point we have to pick it up and put it back down again. So I'm going to show you what I mean by that. Watch my right foot. I'm going to press it down.